Welcome back, I'm Tedward. Welcome to beautiful, sunny, almost sunny Southern California, and welcome to the 2024 Aston Martin DBX 707. Yeah, when the DBX came out, it was supposed to save the brand. This is the car that was meant to put them on the map. Big sales projected, and it didn't quite work out the way they wanted to. However, people were complaining it's not fast enough, it doesn't have the power. I thought the chassis was phenomenal in the first DBX I drove, but now we have the 707, so it has about 700 horsepower, and it absolutely mobs. This thing comes in at $269,000, so she's not cheap, but I will tell you, I think I enjoy driving this more than a Bentayga, more than a Urus, and if we're going to have SUVs be the end-all be-all of shareholder profits, then I guess this is okay. Now it starts to get a little extreme. We get this wild rear diffuser. It's with like a wing in the diffuser. There's all kinds of fun stuff. And because Aston Martin is very well known as a Formula One team, they try to make things feel good for those fans as well. But the real heart of it is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8. That's what's making all that power. It's an AMG power plant, but honestly, I don't fault Aston for this because I think that was a really good, smart, and cohesive collaboration they did with Mercedes-Benz. The DBX looks very Aston Martin, and I know everybody wants these like low-slung, Vantage and DB12 and all this stuff, but I gotta tell you, those aren't my favorite driving cars. This still has the swan doors, which we like, and in the rear, one of the coolest things about DBX is that you don't get like stadium seating. Back here, they actually give the rear passengers like a coupe style or a sedan style seating position. You're not sitting up over the driver and passenger up front. Really nice stitching. If you want all of these options, you're paying dearly for them, but that's the deal. It's Aston Martin. It smells like an Aston Martin. It is leather everywhere. You've got deviated stitching in the exterior color. Really beautiful stuff. And up front, very simple kind of design, but what you notice is you're getting mostly Mercedes type switchgear, not the most modern stuff, because that is not a touchscreen. Very annoying. There are some weird things about this car that you just say, wow, can't believe I paid nearly 300 grand and we're getting this, but the driving experience is really good. So let me just show you around the back real quick. Down here, you've got your climate controls. You can lock and unlock the door. You have USBs for charging and some vents over here and over here for your HVAC system for your rear passengers. Not bad. Back here, plenty of cargo room. This is actually really spacious and nice with the good carpeting. We like that. That's all good stuff. A spare tire. Come on, guys. 2024, we're getting a spare tire. Good on you. You can raise and lower the car from these buttons back here. And one strange thing about this car that harkens back to the old days of Aston Martin. This reminds me, I think of it's either a DB9, right? The trunk lid on those cars. A very similar little guy right there for your glove box. So that is kind of a nice little touch. I've never noticed that until just now. And while we're on the passenger side, I'll show you under the hood. Yes, that does release from the passenger side. Very British thing. And then with our fan still going because Charlie was enjoying himself, there is our AMG 4-liter V8 neatly packaged in here. Pretty wild the way they did this. Kind of similar to the way that DB11 is in terms of like having a clamshell just the other direction, but kind of leaves this open. But it's nice that they put this here because otherwise you end up just flicking all the dirt and trash into the hood, and that's not where you want to be. So hot V, good throttle response, fast thing. Wet clutch, 8-speed, it's a quick one. So let's go out for a drive and see how it handles. The door closes with a little bit of shuddering. It's not the most solid feeling in the world. And then here we have our engine start stop button. When we put our foot on the brake, it turns red, telling us that it is ready to engage. To put it in gear, we have our gear selector up here. If you've got short arms, that is going to be probably a little tricky for you. But right now, we can use our heightened suspension because we are able to raise and lower this car nicely, which I appreciate. We've got our drive mode selects here, so let's just go straight to Sport Plus and mat it. Oof. I'm telling you, this thing is brutally fast. I am blown away. I mean, look, if anyone was complaining about the original DBX launch and saying, this could be a little faster, it's not going to compete with the Urus and some of these other cars, like, holy cow. Might as well listen to that Sterrato make some noise at the same time. But yeah, I could keep up with the Sterrato in this car. I can feel the front wheels scurrying away. Lots of feedback from this steering wheel. Oh my goodness. I am like so blown away by the dynamics of this car. Throttle's a little sensitive in Sport Plus. I'm going to knock that down to Sport mode because I don't like upsetting it, because when you do get on throttle and you're still kind of like pulling out of that corner, it's going to understeer on you if you give it too much. Take it easy by these fellas. Always want to be respectful of other people on these roads. We'll put our suspension mode in Sport Plus. Oh, it's so weird how much this can handle. And yet it's still compliant. Now I have crazy lateral support on these seats. I mean, I can pitch this into a corner and I'm not going anywhere. I actually have a lot to lean on here. And this is crummy pavement. You can hear those turbos spooling. Traction control stepping in just a little bit, preventing me from being too silly. But what a raucous machine. What's wild is that I still feel like I'm in luxury. I was just driving the Lamborghini on this same section of road and it felt pretty hardcore and wild. Whereas in this, I do still feel like I'm enveloped in leather and lovely things that are just ready for action in a way that I kind of was not expecting from DBX. So we've got a little bit of traffic ahead of us. It is a quiet cabin. There's a lot of luxury here. There's a lot to love about being in this car. So even if it's just your daily, commuter, I'm out here just kind of having a fun vlog, which is great. But what this can do for you is, if you're a wealthy person, a person of means, a person who needs even their daily driver to be a little outrageous, over the top, kind of flashy, but not too flashy, just classy, this is gonna get that job done for you. And it's way more practical and usable than going for, say, oh, what a legend, this guy rules. Every gap is yours in the DBX 707. It's crazy. Steering wheel's kind of small, feels sporty. Like, that's the thing. Everything about the car feels really intense and sporty, but then it just kind of soaks up bumps and allows you to be a bit of a hooligan. It doesn't mask its weight perfectly, but pretty darn good. And it's a laugh. It's fun. I don't feel like I'm torturing it. Now, having just gotten out of the Lamborghini, things that you notice when you get into a V8 turbo is just, you don't get that instantaneous throttle response, but it is pretty darn good because, like I said, we've got hot V, we've got really small, like, physical distance between, those turbos spooling and starting to push pressurized air into that intake. So it does a really good job. I mean, this is an engine that's tried and true. You've seen me drive a million of them, and I like it. This one's just tuned up a bit, and it's nice. This gearbox mostly knows where I want to be. Does a pretty good job. Smooth. See, I'm like giving it to it, and it's not like slamming me into the next gear, but it is allowing it to have some semblance of luxury amidst the sportiness. That's a tricky balance to make. Sure, I haven't driven the new Puro Sangue from Ferrari, but I do think that DBX is the most well-rounded and actually super level of SUV sports car that there is. And there are some silly things about it, like the lane keep assist when it vibrates the steering wheel, feels like a PlayStation 2 controller. That's a little cheesy, but the driving dynamics are what make this car good, and it's wild that Aston's the one to do it. So, don't discount the DBX just because it wasn't launched with fury. The 707 has really amped up the game, and this is a good laugh, a fun car, a practical car, just very expensive. But, we knew that part. So I'm going to head down to lunch with Charlie of the Daily Motor and Chris Brower of Topher Drives. Chris Amos, the Topher, is flying in tomorrow, so we're going to go play around with them. But I just wanted to give you a little taste of DBX in the world. I think it's compliant, it's tactile, it's fun, it's luxurious, it's fast as heck, and it's a good time. And is that a C1 Corvette? Let's find out. Oh man, look at that. That's the stuff. Yeah. Oh, cool. What a way to end that. So thank you guys for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I've got a green arrow. Hopefully Brower can make that as well. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.